Hi everyone, Eric Lewis here, and today we're going to talk about the differences between pump and semi-auto shotguns. Now, the big difference between them is obvious. One is semi-automatic, or it reciprocates by itself and every trigger pull makes the gun go boom. Pump action, you actually have to manually eject your shells. So those are the obvious differences. Here we've got a couple of different variations of semi-autos, and then my old trusty pump shotgun. But the biggest differences are going to be in your control. It's a basic way to say it. With it being semi-automatic, these guns have got fantastic gas systems that really help manage the recoil, much like an AR-15 or any other semi-automatic firearm does. So it's going to lessen your recoil. It also makes the gun move a little bit smoother. Because you're not manually having to pump the gun, you're going to be able to stay on target, especially if you're shooting skeet or anything like that. You're going to be able to follow up, shoot a lot quicker than you would when you're manually ejecting a shell and moving your body. So besides the obvious differences, there are a few things functionally that can make you a better shooter. Me personally, I actually prefer a pump action shotgun. I feel like I have more control, and I feel like I'm not as hurried in my follow-up shot. But there is a disadvantage. When you do shoot, you fire, and then you have to manually eject it. So there is, two main motions to get a new shell in, and then you have to reacquire target. Obviously, with practice, you don't really lose your target in your sight picture as badly as you do maybe if you actually remove the gun from your shoulder and eject your shell. But it does take practice, and there are disadvantages to that. You also are going to feel a lot more recoil on your shots. Now, when you go to a semi-auto, you're going to be able to shoot. It's going to do this on its own. And because of the gas systems on it, things are so much more well managed that you don't feel as much recoil, and you're able to reacquire target much more quickly and follow up shoot much more quickly. So it's going to come down, like everything else in this world, to personal preference. It's whatever works for you. What we're going to do today, we're going to actually go to the range, try these out. We're going to show you firsthand the differences, how they perform, and some of these things in a real life scenario. So come with us to the range and we'll check this out, and you can be your own judge. Oh! 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 So we've kind of touched on a few of the differences between a pump and a semi-automatic shotgun. The biggest difference is very obvious. With a pump, you manually have to eject the shells, and with a semi-automatic, it does so automatically. But there are a few advantages and disadvantages to each. Biggest advantage to the semi-automatic, it's a little bit smoother running due to the way that the gas ejects out of the system, and your shot is ready a lot quicker. Your target acquisition is a lot faster because you're not having to physically move your gun. Some of the benefits to a pump action, typically they're a little bit less expensive. And if your gun is dirty, say you're on some sort of hunt, maybe a waterfowl hunt, and your gun is to get dirty or it dries out, you can physically push your way through ejecting the shell. So there are some advantages and disadvantages to each, but it's basically up to the shooter and whatever you prefer. So I've talked about some of these differences between pump and semi-auto kind of in a more of a hunting or target shooting scenario. But we've got this 1301 Tactical made by Beretta. It's an awesome gun. It's a little bit lower profile, shorter barrel. This is a home defense weapon. For something like home defense, I mentioned earlier I really like pump action hunting and shooting targets just personally. For home defense, I am all about semi-automatic. If you are in the unfortunate situation that you have to defend yourself and your family in the home, a firearm just like this one, you can't beat. It's like I said, it's low profile, short barrel. You can maneuver around corners much more easily. And with it being semi-automatic, you've got instant follow-up shots, which is something no one ever wants to face. But if the scenario happens, you want to be ready. And this 1301 Tactical is an amazing home defense firearm.